Every man, myself, and likely you too included, has once told himself that he's ready for a good woman. But the truth is, if you stop to ask yourself, would a good woman date you? The true answer would probably be no. In fact, if you yourself was the woman, would you date yourself? Are you really ready to be dated? Just desiring something doesn't mean you're ready. And it can be easy to want someone, but being worthy of that person is a lot harder. And of course, if you're not building peace in your own life, you'll never be her peace either. Howdy, my name is Nolan T. Painter, a young aspiring man with aspirations greater than anyone will ever understand. And in today's video, I want to talk about how most men, even myself, is not ready for a good woman, even though he might think he is. So let's talk about the illusion of readiness. Why do we think we're ready when we're not? Well, I'll just start with my own example. I was in a relationship. I thought I was ready. You know what? I'll actually go ahead and say I did a good job in the relationship. I was a good man most of the time. There's the problem. Most of the time, not all the time. If that relationship stayed, I would have just fallen into bad habits. I would have done horrible things. I would have lusted when I shouldn't have. I would have fallen into addiction when I couldn't have. I wouldn't have created a successful business. I wouldn't have built a life that is worth surrounding with the people I love. And because I've taken time away, I've learned that I wasn't ready. I had to learn. And then only only last month, I tried to reach out again, and then I stopped and realized I'm not ready. And then now in this moment, I tell myself, I'm ready. But even then, I'm learning new things every day that otherwise, if I didn't learn before getting into a relationship, I wouldn't have been as successful. The point is, though, you shouldn't wait as long as possible, but you should certainly take your time and focus on being someone who's actually worthy of such a thing rather than desiring it above all. So why is this? Well, men confuse waiting and wanting love with actually being prepared for it. The truth is, as men, we all want to be loved. We all want the woman who's going to sit on our back and give us massages and scratch our backs and then give us a kiss and tell us we're loved and we are important and that it's okay and that they're going to support us and work with us. We all want the woman who's going to give us a nice meal and then sit with us and then watch a show with us. We all want a woman who is going to say, I want you to love me. We all want a woman who's going to be happy with your commitment and your sacrifice and all the things that you provide as a man. But the truth is that we're not actually prepared for it. Just because we want it does not insinuate that we actually have the capabilities to achieve such a relationship. And chasing comfort instead of purpose is a symptom of such a thing. It's a symptom of such an ideology, such a thought process that you could have. When you want to be comfortable, when you're chasing that relationship where all you want is to be pleasured by your partner, you're not actually ready for such a relationship because what you're chasing is simply the results or the things you get out of it rather than what is most important as a man, which is what you're putting into it. Because the most significant thing a man can do in a relationship is his sacrifice and his commitment, which he puts into the people he loves, rather than what he gets out of it from the people he loves. And if you can't make that distinction, and if you can't make it clear that you are going to be purpose-driven rather than pleasure-driven, then you're not ready for a relationship. Additionally, you can't expect loyalty from a woman when you're not loyal to your own mission. If you can't force yourself to work on the same projects every day to further your business ventures or to further your education or to build a stronger body or a stronger mind or a stronger spirit, then how can a woman be loyal and push you to be further along your journey or being a better man yourself? Additionally, readiness is responsibility, so you need to have responsibility over your finances, your faith, your emotions, your discipline. In religion, it says that, well, specifically Christianity, it says in the Bible that a man must lead a woman to God. So, if a man can't lead himself to God, if a man isn't actually thinking straight, how could he be ready for a partner? If you want your partner to be a stay-at-home woman, are you going to be making enough money to afford all the things you'd like to have? If you said no to any of those answers, then you're not ready, unfortunately. Now, this doesn't say you can't grow with your partner, and that is absolutely not the case, especially since a lot of us are young when we want to get into these things. But it doesn't mean that you can't just be chasing things, especially when you're not ready yourself. Comfort in this instance, is the enemy of preparation, because we want to be comfortable, we want to sit, we want to enjoy things. But the true enjoyment comes from working and being able to love someone. And the fruits of your labor will be good fruits because you were yourself a good tree with good roots. If the roots of the tree of which you are good in the sense that you're working hard and everything in your background is good, then the fruits, being the things you receive, the things you lend, will be good. So what a good woman actually sees in you is going to be different from what you see in you. So a good woman doesn't need to be told why you're a good man. She'll sense it. This is an interesting thing because men often crave reassurance. That's why men in relationships are often asking for, compliments or this and that, just to be reassured. That's why in an office environment, it's necessary for you to clarify to your business partner or to a coworker why you're actually, necessarily effective within the specific role of the job. However, if a woman approaches you, if she is being vulnerable with you, she's telling you something, if she's being open in a certain way that is only between you and her and God, then obviously, or maybe not even obviously to you, but clearly to her, she senses that you are a good man. Because women don't just naturally open themselves to people who they don't already have reassurance in. Unlike men who need to open to people and then receive reassurance, women naturally have reassurance and safety found with someone if they're willing to be open with them. So you don't need to tell them why you're so special because they already think you are. Additionally, she can feel your peace and she'll sense how your peace is genuine or if it's performative. And this is really hard for me to word out and kind of explain to the fellow man here, but essentially a woman can really easily pick up if your peace, being how you feel, how you talk, how you walk, and how not nonchalant, but how chillaxed you are, how comfortable you are in your current environment, even though your environment can be absolutely chaos. She can sense if it's genuine or if it's performative. She can sense if who you are and what you're doing is fake and you're trying to put on a facade, or if you're genuinely interested. And that's a good woman too. A crappy woman is not going to pick up on that. And that's called discernment. A good woman has discernment, and it's one of the most important skills a woman can have. And crappy men hate discernment because it allows them to be weeded out for the filthy men that they are. Whereas women with discernment, good women that is, they're able to easily identify the good men among the weeds. And it's a woman's intuition. A woman's intuition is God's way of filtering out unprepared men. You have a row of unprepared men, and a woman's discernment, her intuition, will filter them out like weeds. And signs of unreadiness include, inconsistency. So when are you inconsistent? Lack of a plan, blaming, weak discipline. I fit all these categories. I have to film 2 videos today because I was unable to film one of them yesterday. That's inconsistency. I want to start building a business venture and expanding my channel. However, my plan is not thoroughly developed. That's a lack of a plan. I'm blaming other things other than myself. Now, while I am improving in those aspects, I'm still incomplete. Especially I'm weak in discipline. I could always be more disciplined. If you are not the most disciplined you can be, then you are weak in discipline. And of course, you can't fake your confidence. You can try and be an arrogant man, but a woman would not want an arrogant man, especially a good woman. So you cannot fake your confidence. You need to just be genuine. And if your genuineness is not what she's interested in, then obviously she's not for you, bud. Because if you being you is not who she likes, then she doesn't like you. And you also can't fake consistency too. You could try and pretend to be confident, but consistency is so important to the sense that you can only be consistent for so long through pretending it. Because the point of consistency is that it is the rule of thumb, it is the exception. And a woman will look for all the cracks in your exceptions and all the breaks within your rule of thumb. So if you're not consistent, and if you're pretending, and if you're faking it, she will see them immediately. So here are 3 signs why you're not ready. Or 3 signs to point out that you might not have realized. So let's look at your emotions. I know it's crazy. How could a man tell another man why you need to take care and put purpose on your own emotions? Well, emotions are incredibly important as a man. How do you react? Do you react before you think? Do you seek validation? Do you crumble in silence? Are you someone who cries alone? I would cry myself to sleep very frequently. That does not mean I'm ready for a relationship. That means I want to be loved. I would seek validation because I was emotionally neglected. I was depressed. That doesn't mean I'm ready for a relationship. That means I desire to be loved. And I would react before I would think. Not because I was unwise, but because I was emotionally unstable. I wanted to be loved, but I wasn't ready to be loved. Look at your purpose. Do you have direction in your purpose? Is your purpose anything outside of her? Do you replace your mission with comfort? Do you have something that is more important, that is worth sacrificing yourself to, other than your partner? And regarding comfort, are you actually putting your mission down for the sake of being more comfortable? And then look at spiritually, religiously. Are you seeking healing in a woman instead of healing through faith and reflection? God always says you should seek Him first and then find a relationship. And that is scary for me. I'm going to say honestly, that is very intimidating for me, because I myself want to pursue and focus on this relationship so much. I want to let it consume my life. I want it to be my life purpose, to do whatever I can for this beautiful woman. And if I want to be a good man, I need to find a way to put God first and let Him guide my life. And I will do my best to fulfill whatever plan He has for me. So, you might be struggling with a lot of these things, but the truth is you don't need a woman to fix you. It'd be nice, but you don't need her help you in any way. You got to put on your man pants, and you got to actually get it done the real way. You need to fix your own foundation, so that way you can help set someone up with their own. Not necessarily need to fix their foundation, but to the sense that when you come together with a woman, you're building a new foundation. So if you're setting a foundation up with a lady, a real important one that is, then you should have your own completely organized and set up too. So what does readiness look like? We know what it doesn't look like, which is the lack of all the things we've been talking about. So what really is it? Well, you're grounded. So you know exactly what the truth is. You lead in truth. Not logic, because logic can be skewed, but you lead in truth, absolutes. You're like a pole stripped to the core of this, the center of the earth, and you're sticking out the ocean. You do not move, you do not sway, you are constant, you are grounded. And in your constantness, you are consistent. You have consistency. And because you are consistent, you're able to be grounded regardless of the situation, and you're able to be effective and helpful regardless of the situation. And finally, you're peaceful. You bring safety. Women spend more energy than you'd realize, almost to the extent of it being their sixth sense, that they are able to detect safety, both emotional safety and physical safety. So if you're not bringing peace the same way your woman isn't bringing peace or whatever, then you're not worthy. You're not a safe environment. Men want a woman who brings peace to his life, so why not bring peace to your own life before meeting her? And of course, what else does this look like? Well, you are self-led first. Your relationships are led second. Now this is interesting, because when you are in a relationship, then I believe the relationship should be first. But if you are not in a relationship right now, then your main priority should be leading yourself, not someone who's not in a relationship with you, not a relationship. This shows to the other people around you that you are capable of leading, and you are a strong leader if you're able to get within the successful position that you are in today. That shows that you're adequate for a relationship. Additionally, you don't chase love, your stability attracts it. You don't run around trying to capture butterflies. You build a garden and the butterflies come to you. It's as simple as that. You focus on your habits more than promises. Instead of telling people you're going to do some things, you just do it. Granted, promises are essential and they're very important within relationships, as it builds trust and it allows you to do things, whether large or small, to grow that trust in meaningful ways. Additionally, as I've said earlier, you need to provide safety. You can't just be someone who is safe through your peacefulness. You need to actually be providing safety. You need to be seeking it. You need to be lending it to people who are also seeking it. Emotional, spiritual, and physical safety. And ultimately, when a man finds peace in his purpose, when he's purpose-led and he's finding peace and happiness in it, a woman will find peace in him too. So let's look at relationships. Let's try to apply all of the things we've learned. Well, a good woman won't build with a man who is still rebuilding himself. So we know this. You got to fix yourself up before she comes into your life. You can't be rebuilding yourself. You need to just be building yourself up off the foundation that you already have. And then additionally, readiness is seen through repetition, not speeches. So don't go around telling this person how ready you are, how perfect you are. Just be perfect. Just do it. And you don't need to prove you're ready by saying you'll change. You'll prove it by just being changed. So make the changes, be perfect, be the man that they desire. Of course, it's easier said than done, but if you can do that, then you can be the best version and the best thing you can possibly be for this person, and thus a woman would come to you. A good woman at that, I must clarify. Additionally, a relationship is not a rescue mission. It is nice to be saved, but no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to help you. You're a man. You have to grow up. You have no choice. So save yourself, and then a woman will come to you. And finally, you attract what you prepared for. Pardon me, I did not get a good sleep last night. You attract what you are prepared to handle. So if you're prepared to handle a horrible individual, you're likely to attract them. However, if you're prepared to handle the best of the best, then that is who you are likely to attract, that is. So overall, to conclude, we've learned a lot today, and they're all, big points of information that are important to remember. So let's just look at it. Readiness is quiet. It's consistent, and it's patient. So you're not boasting about things. You're working tirelessly, and you're working hard, and you are waiting patiently for the time to come. And when you are ready, when you're finally ready, you won't have to chase the woman. She'll actually just recognize you as her home, and she'll come to you. Or may I say, she'll recognize you as your house, and she will make you the home. So, additionally, becoming ready for love means mastering yourself first. Because if you're not a master of yourself, how can you let yourself be a master of someone else? So focus on yourself to all extents. And finally, above all, a good woman isn't waiting for perfections, she's waiting for peace. So don't be the perfect man, be a good man. My name is Nolan T. Painter, and thank you very much for watching.